Hi, everybody. Michael P. Spradlin, back with the Youngest Templar, Keeper of the Grail, Chapter 3. Again, thank you all for the kind words and questions and all of that. I'm going to wait until I get a couple of more questions, and then I'll start answering some reader questions as we go along through the story here. Again, librarians, teachers, educators, help yourself to use this any way that you please. And also email me, michael@michaelspradlin.com, if you need or would like a reading guide for free, or go to my website, michaelspradlin.com, and go to the list of printable materials, and you'll see reading guides there for a lot of my books. So that's it. Let's jump into Chapter 3. As we left off yesterday, Tristan was about to be punished by Sir Hugh. Let's find out what happens. Chapter 3. Except it didn't. The blow never came. "Hold," a voice said. I straightened up to see Sir Thomas grasping Sir Hugh's arm from behind with one hand. Sir Hugh struggled vainly to free his arm, but could not shake the grip of the stronger knight. "Release me," Sir Hugh spat. "I demand that you unhand me this moment. How dare you assault the Marshal of the Regimento?" "Being Marshal does not give you leave to thrash an innocent boy," Sir Thomas calmly replied. "That boy has ruined my prize stallion." Sir Thomas released his hold on Sir Hugh, but moved around him to a place between us. I did not know what to do. It had all happened so fast. Now I was at the center of a conflict that I had suddenly felt had little to do with me. "I'll be happy to tend to the horse myself, Sir Hugh," I started to say, but Sir Thomas turned to me with a raised eyebrow. Immediately, I wished I'd kept my mouth shut. He turned back to face Sir Hugh. "I demand that you step aside. I will bring you up on charges." Sir Hugh was in a rage as spittle flew from his mouth. It looked at any minute like he might draw his sword and strike down Sir Thomas. "Do so, and I will bring you up on counter-charges of conduct detrimental to the order. Had the stallion reared again, you may have been killed or gravely injured. The boy likely saved your life. The horse doesn't appear overly hurt. I'm sure the monks can apply a salve or bandage to the cut. Now you need to control yourself and take your leave." Sir Thomas, I noticed, spoke very calmly. His voice was steady and his tone even. Sir Hugh's face had gone crimson. I thought it unlikely he was going to change his mind about punching me. His hawk-like features were pinched and the veins on his neck and forehead stood out as he grimaced in anger. "Sir Hugh, I warn you, lay one hand on this boy and I will have you brought before the master of the order," Sir Thomas said. "You wouldn't dare," said Sir Hugh, but his tone had changed. He sounded unsure of himself. His posture changed and he seemed to shrink. "Then test me," Sir Thomas said gently. Sir Hugh glanced over his shoulders. The other knights had now gathered in back of the abbey and stood watching the exchange. Brother Rupert stood holding Brother Tuck's arms behind him as he struggled to rush to my side. I waved at him to stay where he was. Sir Hugh looked back at Sir Thomas. His face was cold. A look of pure hatred burned in his eyes. But Sir Thomas didn't flinch. He stood there defiantly, awaiting Sir Hugh's next move. "One day, Sir Thomas, I warn you, one day." He let the words hang ominously in the air. "Make sure that impudent boy takes care of my horse," he said, as he stomped off toward the abbey, disappearing up the steps into the main hall, with the abbot close behind. "Sire, I'm sorry to have injured the marshal's horse," I said. Sir Thomas turned to me from where he stood, reaching up to stroke the stallion's neck. "No bother, Tristan. Much ado about nothing. It certainly wasn't your fault. Horses spook. Sir Hugh just has a horrible temper. Let us think no more of it. It might be best if you tended to the stallion, though." "Sire, I do not wish you to get in trouble for my actions. I will explain to the abbot." Sir Thomas held up his hand to stop me. "You have done nothing wrong. Sir Hugh is Marshal of the Regimento, but it is I who command these knights. Sir Hugh knows he has no respect within his own ranks. He has some powerful friends in high places within our order in the king's court, but so do I. Nothing will come of this. Think no more of it." Somewhat reassured by Sir Thomas's words, I led the stallion into the stable, putting him in the stall next to Sir Thomas's. He was still skittish, but after being watered and fed, he calmed a bit. Moments later, Brother Tuck rushed into the stable, taking my head in his hands. He looked me over as if to check for damage. I assured him I was fine, then showed him the small cut on the stallion's leg. He studied the wound, then stepped to a shelf across the stable, bringing me a small earthen jar. Inside the jar was a muddy ooze that he had created from various plants and roots found in the woods around the abbey. I rubbed a large handful of the mixture over the cut on the stallion's leg, holding it in place for a few minutes while it dried. As an extra measure, Brother Tuck handed me a piece of clean cloth, and I wrapped the stallion's leg. With the horses stabled, Sir Thomas returned to the abbey while I helped the other knights see to their mounts. I finished just as the bell rang for the evening meal. That night at dinner in the main hall, I took my normal place at the end of the long table. The monks had brought in extra tables and benches to accommodate our guests. Sir Hugh was seated next to the abbot, and for a moment our eyes met, and the look of hatred that I'd seen earlier at the stable flashed across his face. I quickly looked away. As I began my meal, I sensed something at my side and looked up to see Sir Thomas standing there with his plate and cup. "Might I join you, Tristan?" he said. "Of course, sire. No need to ask," I said as he sat down across the table from me. "So, young Tristan, you show yourself to be an able lad, quick of mind and handy with your voluminous chores," Sir Thomas said. "Thank you, sire." I blushed somewhat, not used to receiving compliments. The brothers were kind enough for the most part, but not free with praise. "I'm wondering when you were planning to take your vows," he said. "Vows, sire? Oh, no. I do not plan to join the order." "Really? Interesting. So what are your plans then? You must be what, nearly 15? If you've no interest in the priesthood, what will you do?" Sir Thomas' boldness unsettled me somewhat. How had he so easily guessed my age? Why was he so interested in my future? "Well, sire, of course, I have thought about it. I would like to travel to see places, other places than here. I don't know exactly how I will do that yet, but, sire, if I may?" "Why do you ask?" "Just curious. Travel, you say? I can understand that. Wanted to see the world myself when I was your age. However, you'll need a way to support yourself with some type of job," he said. "Yes, sire, I suppose that's true," I said. "Well, maybe I can help with that. We're riding on to Dover in the morning to rendezvous with the rest of our regimento. As soon as our ships return, we'll resupply and leave for Outremer." "Outremer, sire?" "Yes. We Templars refer to the Holy Land as Outremer. It means the land beyond the sea. So I'm wondering, lad, how would you like to come with me in service as my squire?" He looked at me expectantly. For a moment, his words did not register. I must have looked a fool as I stared at Sir Thomas in open-mouthed wonderment. He had offered me something I could scarcely comprehend. A life outside the abbey. I beg pardon, sire. Excuse me." "What?" I asked. Sir Thomas laughed easily. "I believe you heard me, lad. I saw no evidence of deafness in you this afternoon. So what will it be?" His eyes sparkled as he watched me struggle with the enormity of his offer. Looking down the table, I saw Sir Hugh studying us, his face pinched in concentration, as if he were trying to learn what it was Sir Thomas had said to me. "Sire, I thank you," I finally replied, "but I cannot leave St. Albans." "Why not? I've spoken to the abbot, and he approves if you agree. I've learned much about you, young man. Since you won't be joining the order, you'll have to leave this place soon anyway. What better way than as a squire to a Templar knight? You will travel, see the world, and serve a noble cause. Not many are given this opportunity." Sir Thomas dutifully ate from his plate of stew and bread, not looking at me while he spoke. I'm sorry, sir, but I have duties. There's much work to do in the garden, and—" Sir Thomas interrupted, "And the timing is perfect, as I am in need of a squire. Mine has recently left the order, returning to his family home to assist his ill father. You would do me a great service by accepting." I was speechless. How could I make such a decision, give up the only life I'd ever known? "It won't be easy," he continued. "The work is hard and dangerous. We are on our way to war. Make no mistake about that, lad. But you'll be well trained. I will teach you all I know about the art of battle. It will be a grand adventure." The brothers often told me that God works in mysterious ways, that his divine presence surrounds us always, and that he grants us what we need when we need it most. Did he send Sir Thomas to the abbey at the time that I most needed this opportunity? Sir Thomas's eyes twinkled and his smiles were genuine. In that moment, I felt that I had made a friend for life. Glancing down the table and seeing Sir Hugh frowning back at me, though, I became aware that I had also made an enemy. And that's the end of Chapter 3. We'll be back Chapter 4 tomorrow. Be safe, everyone.